neighborhood. A beautiful day for a neighbor. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? Won't you be my neighbor? We live. Y'all remember him? Such a kind and gentle soul. That was my era. I used to get up and sit extremely close to the TV and watch him change his shoes and put his sweater up. And I would have a good day, you know? Some of y'all could remember that. Greetings. Don't act indignant up in here. It might not be the live for you today. Hey, Naturally, how you doing? So I was just sitting here saying, wow, what is your opinions on change? I would like to know the people's opinions on change. You know, people's opinions matter because therein you will find the answer. Because some of us, we get too comfortable, you know? We get too comfortable and things have to happen in order for us to see things in a different light. Those are upheavals. Being evicted is an upheaval, not a tower. Y'all have to understand that. When you start thinking about what you make versus what you spend, it makes a difference. Have you ever just really looked and said, I don't even have enough money to create a budget? Because you know how a lot of people say you need to create a budget? They feel like if you have a budget when you already don't have enough, that'll somehow make you have enough. You know what I'm talking about? It's an oxymoron, don't y'all think? When you tell someone that you need to budget and they already don't have enough, where's the other money coming from? The sky. What I notice is when certain places got raises, the cost of living went up. Y'all see how that worked? You get a raise and all of a sudden your rent goes up. It has to be some type of system set to where that cannot happen. Because it's an oxymoron. It doesn't make sense. Yes, you need to have adventure. Some people do not realize what an adventure is. Some would say you need money to be able to have an adventure. And so therein is the problem. If you don't make enough money, how could you venture? It's like a system set up for you to fail. You know how many people that attended college and universities are in agreement with what I stated in my last live. When you interview successful people, the information that they tell you will shock you because a lot of people believe that the people that are really high in status have all of this tutelage. And when you interview them, they say, no, I didn't do that. And it starts making you think different about the world. In some places, college is free. We talked about this. And in those places, they seem to be high achievers and very successful. You are right. You have to trust in a higher power. You definitely do. But some things are placed in our hands for a reason. People are placed in our view for a reason. We have to facilitate that. You know that saying, faith without works? You can say, I trust the big G, not the little one, all day long. However, the big G knows your heart. So you have to make statements that you really feel. You can't just say something because it sounds good. You know, there's a lot of that. You know, there was a statement made about PRAYERS and how apparently when some people do it, it don't go past the ceiling. Y'all know what I'm talking about? Because it's just words. Those days of circles are long gone. Now they PREY. Y'all know what I'm talking about? Isn't it interesting how those words are the same but different? Could you imagine someone saying, I'm going to PREY for you? That's a shocker. You know, some people don't even want you to shake their hand. But PREY for me? Greetings. You know, I told you there's dual meanings to everything. The most important stuff has a dual meaning. That means it's opposite. You know what I'm talking about? You know, there are some people that will say it and mean PREY and laugh. I've encountered some. You know, that was real popular when I was growing up. I'm going to PRAY for you. It was kind of like them being dismissive and not really, you know, it was the proper thing to say. I'm going to PRAY for you. Really? Wow. Am I supposed to say thank you? Because I'm having a hard time and you feel like I've lost grace? And this is the reason why the big G, not the little one, has his foot on my neck? Is that what you are implying? Because that's what it feels like. When someone tells you that they're having a not so good era and yours is A-okay, you decide that you are going to PREY on them. And then go and smile and say you want some coffee to someone that don't like you. You see how that works? It's an energy transference. You know, some people could like read through people. You know, it's. Let's see what. Oh, all right. Some people feel like you bit. You know, you may be down, but you're not oopid. And it's like when you encounter someone that has lived and they are in a situation where they're calling for help, reaching out for services. But they've lived, they've been through the ups and the downs and all of that. When they're out, they are blank. That means they hear you, but they don't. That means they are listening because they feel they have to in order to get help. Because something in their being is telling them that if they do not comply, they are not going to get help. It's very low on the spectrum, that vibration. The people that have the power to help you and they choose to put their foot on your neck are the ones that get taken by surprise. If you've had a life to where you had not had to worry about anything big, it's for a reason. You know, some people go through their whole life and they don't encounter not one altercation. Some people go through their whole life and they don't get evicted. They don't lose a job. They advance extremely quickly. They always seem to get good grades. There's individuals out here in the world that are like that. And some people wonder why. I mean, it goes back to what I was talking about, you know, in my last live. How do some people make it? Like, you ever just be in the office and someone says they just bought a new home and you're like, we make the same amount of money. How are you purchasing a home? Which brings me to another point. I had a conversation about 10 years ago, right, with some intellectual people, right? And at that time, I was noticing things. It comes from after being around a whole bunch of condescending individuals. One of the things that we talked about, because we talked about a lot of stuff, in like a circle or something, a social media circle. This is for intellectuals, okay? Frat brothers and people that, you know, went to universities and colleges and stuff. I say, what is the difference between renting and renting? Y'all know what I'm talking about? Yo, what is the difference between renting and renting? My rent is a lease, and yours is a lease. Y'all know what I'm talking about? When somebody say, I am a homeowner, and you like, no, you're not. You have a mortgage. Ah. If you have a mortgage, you are leasing. You are leasing to buy. Don't let them fool you. You are not going in no place and dropping $250,000 for a home. Because then you own it. If you have a mortgage, you are leasing. So I wanted to know the difference. Because these weren't men of affluence. They may have been business owners, but they didn't have that type of money, honey. You know what I'm talking about? You ever notice how people that are really rich go and get things that'll eventually make them poor? You know what I'm talking about? Like if I had a meal, okay, if I had $1 million, I would purchase a regular home. I wouldn't get a mansion. I probably have a few of them, and they would be investment properties because I'm a millionaire. You know what I'm talking about? What I look like leasing somebody that's really wealthy mansion. It's like I can officially be a homeowner, but I'm a leaser and I'm a millionaire. It don't make sense. It's an oxymoron. You know what I'm talking about? This is the things that go through my mind, okay? I want to know. Let's see, what you talking about? Um, that's it. Listen, there is no place that I am aware of where you don't have the homeowners association involved. I mean, if you know of some, put it in the chat because then you can't do what you want. You know what I'm talking about? Smoking, loud music. You know what I'm talking about? See, it's little things like that. I own my home, so I could token it. Ha! Okay. Because apparently you can't toke in the world. But in here I can, unless my neighbors smell it. Then you need to cut your grass because they could ding you for that. You're bringing down the property value, sir. Now that we've got homeowners association out of this, you that's the standard answer for everyone that is leasing a home. You know what I'm talking about? You know, HO Homeowners Association, exactly. That means you can't do what you want inside of there. You know what I'm talking about? Now, if you happen to get a neighbor that is like you when you at the office, you'll know that you can't do what you want inside of there, sir. Now back to what I was saying. If you're not going and dropping 250,000, you are not a homeowner. I don't care what they've programmed you to think. What? You are leasing. They just making you feel good, okay? Because you drop in a lump sum of money. Homeowners don't tell you that they are responsible for everything in there. So if the roof cave in, the pipes go bad, the toilet explodes, they gotta pay for that. And then you gotta go into that BANK and say, I need a LOAN. The next thing you know, you're in over your head, underwater. You owe more than you've ever made in your entire life. So when you get reincarnated, you have that energy on you. That energy of DBT. You see how I make it make sense? So all of you that are not homeowners, don't feel no kind of way when someone says they have a mortgage payment. I have a mortgage payment. I'm better than you. You know, you pay rent, I pay mortgage. That means eventually I will own this, okay? You won't ever own that rental property. Now let me get a second loan so I can pay my credit card, DEBT. You know what I'm talking about? Because this is the conversations that people that are homeowners have. It's a society, like the association that is showing you you can't do what you want inside of your home. It is funny because the ones that say I am a homeowner are ones that feel like they're better than the average person because they wouldn't say it like that, especially in places where people are homeless. You know, I pick up on innuendos, nice, nasty energy, because I've lived. When they realize if they manage to pay off that $250,000 home, it needs to be renovated and you still got to pay taxes. So apparently, you don't own it. You see how that works? Because when you own it, you don't have to pay for nothing. What you own is the right to say, I'm a homeowner, and that's it. You see how that works? Because don't pay them taxes and see what they do. Ha! Same thing with our rides. We get that paper and we feel happy. It's paid off. It's paid off. By golly, I've paid it off. 6 years later. 6 years later. It's finally paid. Now I need a new engine. Wait a minute. It's time for me to get my tags. Oh, man. I do need that insurance. Put an insure in front of it. I do need that. Wow. Apparently, if I don't pay for my tags, I can't drive it. I own it, but I own it. And guess what? You cannot sleep in it. You know what I'm talking about? You know, my father said that if you got a new used car, you were smart. Because you will eventually own it. You see how that works? You see how the verbiage? Yeah. Because you don't own it until you get that paper. So if the person that bought it, when it still had that new car smell in it, didn't get that paper, that means they weren't the owner. You see how you gotta have paper? You see that? They may have got it when it had a new car smell, but they didn't keep it. So if you manage to pay it off, guess what? You're the owner. You see how that works? You could say, I'm the first person to own this car. You see how that works? Some people say you're smarter if you get a new used car. Because when I got mine, it had 19,000 miles on it. You know what I'm talking about? I imagine if the person that thought they were going to own it before me see me driving see me driving around in it, it's, look, it's some people that'll purchase a new used car with 100,000 miles on it. To me, that is stupid. You ain't got no longevity. You see how my mind works? It's not about what things look like. It looks like, like I'm a homeowner this month. Next month is questionable. You know what I'm talking about? Because to me, right, to me, if you don't have the means to upkeep something, then you need not purchase it. And when you start talking about, when y'all do, look, I did research. I know about the first time home buyers and homeowners association and condominiums and all of that. Okay. I know about estate sales and blah, 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 blah. Because I actually entertained it. It's a lot that goes into big business. Those type of programs are great. The ones that could benefit from those programs, like first-time home buyers, are those in their 20s. But they don't know about stuff like that. If it takes you 6 years to pay off a car, that's about 30 or something grand. How long do you think it's going to take you to pay off a $250,000 home? This is why I said that those Tesla model homes are the wave of the future. Because you can obtain them. And those people will be the ones that say they are home owners. They will. Anything on God's green earth, you're going to have to continuously pay for, unless you are homeless. Do y'all understand where I'm going with this? We don't own anything. Nothing. And when I made that comment to these intellectual frat brothers, they shut their mouths. Because up until they encountered me, they thought they were saying something. Because that is how it is programmed for you to believe. There's nothing wrong with saying, I want to be a homeowner. But when you use a condescending tone and manner to downplay or downgrade someone that you feel won't be able to ever achieve it, then it's different. You want to be an inspiration in someone's life. Help them achieve a higher status. You don't do it by looking down your nose at them because of what you feel they're going through at that time, especially someone of age. You don't know what their life has been like. It goes by where you meet someone, where you meet them at. Some of you don't even realize you've encountered celebrities that are millionaires because of where you've encountered them at. You feel like they are less than. It's for people that are logical thinkers, and I did talk about this in one of my past lives. For people that are logical thinkers, home owning is not feasible because of the upkeep. You have to cut the lawn, you have to take care of the pipes, you have to remodel the roof, paint, stairs, wear and tear. What if the cement driveway or whatever you have starts cracking? You know you can get a fine for that if you don't fix it. So it's not just enough to say that I have enough to purchase this home. Do I have enough for the upkeep of the home? And sadly, these are things that people realize after it's gone, that they didn't have enough money. Because it's not just about purchasing it, it's about keeping it. At least long enough to say, I own it. That is it.